And I go in, and it's Dr. Shui. He tells me that having a kidney biopsy is one of the most dangerous biopsies you can have because all the blood in your body is carried very close to where they need to do the poke. But he said, we're going to use a CAT scan. We're going to mark everything out precisely. And we're going to get in and get out quickly. But there is a bleed risk if you hit something wrong. And I remember this procedure from start to finish. I stayed awake during the whole thing. And I'm going to describe it to you. So he comes in, he says, we're going to lay you on this CAT scan bed, face down. You put your arms above your head. And we're going to mark you, get anesthetic all over you, make sure that you're nice and sterile. And then we're going to give you pain meds, and you shouldn't really remember anything. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to take 3 samples from your kidney. And once the samples are done, I'll check them to make sure they're okay. And if they are, then we're done. And then you go back to your room and you lay on the place where they do the biopsy for 6 hours to make sure that you stop bleeding. You have to stay applying pressure to the area that they did the biopsy in. You're bandaged up. But you have to sit there applying constant pressure to where you had just been poked. So I get onto the thing, they mark me up. And so the person that I'm guessing is the anesthesiologist comes in and says, I'm giving you pain meds now. Starts working them in. On my chart, it says it was Versed and fentanyl. And then he tells me the doctor is here. And this is what the procedure was like for me. I'm going to put my hand out. But what it felt like was the doctor went snip. 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 And that was it. It literally felt like an angel placing their hand on my back and then just hearing a little snip. And I remember the people in the room saying, that was so easy. We all know that's the hand of Yahweh guiding Dr. Shui's hands. But I remember that entire procedure, and it felt like nothing. So I'm wheeled back to my room after the procedure, told to lay on the thing for 6 hours, but I didn't get what time my procedure was. And by this time, Anna was my nurse. She was working with Junior. I think she might have been doing final training of some sort. And I worked with Anna for, I think, 3 days, and Anna was great. She was attentive and nice at all times. But she didn't tell me what time my 6-hour thing started. So I'm having to sit on this wound, and it's already uncomfortable. And my back has been hurting because I haven't been able to get proper sleep, and the bed's not comfortable. And about an hour in, I am starting to feel extreme pain. Just soreness, I can't even explain it. Just this pressure that's so bad that it hurts. And that's when I'm told I have to go down for a parathyroid scan. It's 3 pictures, 5 minutes each, where you can't move, where you have to lay flat on your back on a really hard surface. Anybody who's been in a CAT scan will know what type of surface I'm talking about, an MRI, anything like that. And my back is killing me at this point, and where the kidney biopsy is really hurting at this point. And we go down in the first scan, and I am not able to manage the pain. And I tell her I'm having a hard time managing the pain. My back is killing me and I want to move. And she tells me if I move, they're just going to have to take the picture again. So I am in extreme pain, but not agony at this point. When we get to the second picture, I am in agony, 10 out of 10 pain. I am screaming during this thing, trying to stay still with how bad my back is hurting. Screaming in pain. And when we get to the third scan, I decided I wanted to try something, which was just lifting my core and clenching it about an inch off the thing. And that still qualified as not moving. And while it was extremely painful, I could tolerate the pain without screaming. And I was going to need to, because I had to come back in an hour and a half for another set of 3 scans. And I had to use that technique throughout the scans to get through it, and I did. It wasn't quite as bad. It wasn't 10 out of 10 pain, but it was 8 out of 10. But that was the worst pain I'd ever felt in my life on that second scan. And by the time the second scans are over, I'm probably about 4.5 hours into my 6 hours of needing to apply pressure to this kidney biopsy spot. But I don't have a time. I don't know when my 6 hours is up. And by 4:30, because I'm pretty sure the procedure was at around 9:30, I just said, screw it, it's over. The 6 hours has happened, I'm done. I kept asking Anna if she knew what 6 hours was, and she didn't ever give me an answer. So at 4:30, I just went ahead and said, screw it, I'm going to get out of bed, and I'm going to go sit in my chair. And that immediately began relieving the pressure and the pain of my back, where I was still basically in 10 out of 10 pain. And Kara had a function that she needed to be to it that day, so she didn't get to witness any of this. She left right after my kidney biopsy. But I was in severe pain for the entire 6 hours that I had to lay with pressure on that kidney biopsy. But again, I got up, sat in a chair, and I started feeling a bit better. By 2 a.m., it was as if nothing had even happened. All my pain was gone. On Monday, a new kidney doctor came in. That meant the end of Dr. Murphy-Dureski for me, at least until the following weekend. It was a nurse practitioner who was a woman. She had good bedside manner. She was explanatory. She talked with me. She felt like I mattered. But she had a big mistake on that Friday. For whatever reason, I cannot remember her name. It's not in my paperwork. So it may be a good thing that I can't remember her name. And she was my person from Monday through Friday. And on Tuesday, after the kidney biopsy, she told me they wanted me to stay in the hospital until the results were in. 72 hours. 9:30 to 9:30 on Friday. As long as I could get out by Friday afternoon, I said, fine. At this point, we're just wrapping up antibiotics. I'm not doing any fluids. My body has basically returned to normal. It bounced back to normal. All that stuff came off. The horrible driver's license caricature. And I started looking like myself again. Probably by Tuesday or Wednesday. But from that point forward, it was about trying to get me out of the hospital by Friday night. That was the goal. So that I would not have to deal with another Friday night with the potential of a nurse who didn't care. Mainly, it was just mop up antibiotics. But because I wasn't eating enough, I threw up several times, mostly due to the antibiotics when they kicked in. But what I'd found out about the potassium on that Saturday night, where I thought I was being poisoned, was that was my body jump-starting itself again. It had finally gotten the potassium fixed. But I still had 22 creatinine, which meant throwing up. But I didn't know that at the time, and nobody was explaining that to me at the time. And I thought I was going to crash that night, but I didn't. So just waiting game for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Nothing of any note happened. Pretty sure Anna went Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday as my day shift RN. On Monday, I had Megan at night as my nurse, and she was amazing. Because I was having a hard time sleeping, or I was in some kind of pain, I can't remember exactly what the reason was, I asked to try morphine, which knocked me out. A feeling I didn't like. I woke up with a headache and a bad taste in my mouth. And I said I was never taking that again. Now, I could have taken morphine for my 10 out of 10 pain after the kidney biopsy and my feelings that I had, but I just didn't want it. I didn't like the feeling that morphine gave me when I was on it. It didn't do anything for me other than knock me completely out. And I didn't want to deal with that. So Friday comes. 9:30, still have no biopsy results.